Hello, tribe. How are you all doing? Welcome back. Yaje here, and I'm super excited for this video because I will be sharing with you a farm to table recipe. We are going to be cooking garden egg stew. Farm to table just means that what was once a tiny seed is now food on the table, and that is the essence of growing your own food. My version of the garden egg stew is the healthy version. If you do a YouTube search on garden egg stews, you would find several recipes, and one of the common denominators in all of the recipes that I found was like excess oil, which makes a healthy thing unhealthy really quick with all of the additional oils that is not necessary. So I offer to you a healthier version of the garden egg stew. And I use the word stew here very loosely. That's because in Cameroon and many countries in Africa, we may not define stewing the same way as in Europe or in other parts of the world. Cameroonian stewing usually involves like boiling, frying, and then stewing. Okay, so just be aware. The bottom line is the end product is very delicious, and my version again is very, very healthy. Please consider subscribing, consider giving the video a thumbs up, and let's chat in the comment section below. These are the ingredients that I am going to use to make the garden egg stew. I will share more about the quantities and why I use each ingredient along with the health benefits as we go. So here I'm using salmon, and that's because I love the taste profile, and I get my salmon from Butcher Box, a monthly subscription. Their fish is sustainably caught. In the absence of salmon, you can use any other fish that is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, such as mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herrings. If you're in Cameroon, herrings is what we know as bonga. I know that's a large amount of garden eggs, and that's because I am feeding a large family. Plus, I like to make extras to serve as meals later on in the week. After washing the garden eggs, be sure to remove the top part of the garden egg and then cut the garden eggs up into pieces. I like to season mine with some salt, and I add just enough water so I don't have leftovers, too much leftovers at the end of the cooking process. And that's because we are boiling the garden eggs and some of the nutrients are going to leach into the water. I don't want to throw that away. Our garden eggs have been cooking for about 15 minutes now. It's tender, fork tender. So I'm going to turn the heat off. Then I'm going to remove the eggs. We'll add the eggs back later on. These are optional. I'm going to let this cool down, and then I will mash it or crush it. The next step in the cooking process is to mash the garden eggs up. I can use a fork to do that. Back home, we used to do this in a mortar. Use a mortar to crush the garden eggs. You can also do this in a food processor or in the blender. Or if you have something like a potato masher, you can use that as well. Here's a mise en place. So we have the crushed garden eggs, we have the seasoned fish, we have tomato puree with garlic and ginger, tomato paste, leeks, onions, and then the boiled eggs that I have peeled, some white pepper, some salt, and that is crayfish or powdered shrimp. We're done frying our fish. So in the same oil, in the same pot, I'm going to fry the onions. The leeks. And then here I have the bell peppers. This is optional, and the celery. It's all optional. They are optional but highly recommended, just as a way to add flavor to your food without having to add stuff like MSG, otherwise known as Maggi cubes. So we're trying to reduce or eliminate the use of these foreign flavor agents from our diet as much as possible, and in its place we use natural flavorings like herbs and spices. So now I'm adding the tomato paste, and I like to add the tomato paste for a little bit of sweetness from that tomato paste. If you don't have it, that's fine, you can totally skip it. Back in Cameroon, this dish is prepared with palm oil. You can totally use palm oil, but because I was going to be eating this with things like cauliflower rice, I didn't want to use palm oil. I use olive oil instead, which is another healthy
Now I will add the tomato
oil.
puree. That's the fresh tomatoes, ginger, garlic, and some of that hot pepper and the garlic. Mix everything in. For about 10 to 15 minutes. Now I'm going to add the garden egg.
Garden eggs, like eggplants, are extremely healthy and good for you. They have a good amount of fiber, vitamins, and minerals with very little calories. Also known as fat loss friendly, right? It's nutrient dense, low in calories. Anything that is high in fiber really helps with blood sugar regulation and weight loss. Additionally, eggplants have a high amount of a phytonutrient known as anthocyanins, which have been shown to protect your cells from damage. That means it's cancer preventing. So yeah, you should definitely consider including garden eggs or eggplants into your healthy diet. So at this point, I have added the garden eggs. I added some water or some stock in there to thin out the stew a little bit. We're going to cook this, so that water is going to evaporate, and I'm just adding a bunch of herbs in there for added flavor. Add whatever herbs works for you. I added thyme, and I am also going to crush some of that shrimp powder, which we call janga, to flavor my stew. This is optional, but if you have anchovies, it should work as well. Remember, we're using only natural ingredients to flavor our food to keep it healthy. So at this point, taste and adjust the seasoning. It's your food. If you need to add more salt, go ahead. If you need more pepper, go ahead. I prefer white pepper. But if you have black pepper or any other seasoning such as Mrs. Dash, that should work just as well. At this point, I'm going to add back our fish and then simmer for about 20 minutes. And ta-da! Your garden egg stew is ready. The smell, the aroma, oh my goodness. So I went ahead and had mine with mixed quinoa and cauliflower to keep calories down, to keep carbs down, and also to get even more vegetables. But you can totally enjoy this with something like boiled plantains, regular rice, cassava, or any other starch of your choice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I have inspired you to grow a garden. That is the essence of growing a garden, so we can cultivate food to nourish our physical bodies. If you have enjoyed this video, if this has been useful to you, if you found any value at all, please leave a thumbs up, add a comment. Let's chat in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye.